This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's Friday, October 23rd, 2020, and it's the Relevant Podcast. In Orlando, I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, it's Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Nashville, Tennessee, artist, producer, mogul, Derek Miner.
Hey.
And little bit of a swerve here. Our fan favorite, Jamie Ivey, is not on today's show, sitting into her seat from Nashville, Relevant Senior Editor, Tyler Huckabee. Hey, man.
Howdy, folks.
So, yes, everybody, it's just the guys today. Once again.
The boys are back in town, boys are back in town. I said, the boys are back in town.
No lie, Cameron.
Yeah.
I just imagine that this show smells like gym socks. I'm not even lying. It just smells like dirty gym socks.
Guys, I'm gonna cut right to it since this is boy. I feel like when it's a boys are back in town show, like there's no format. We just roll and nothing's off limits. And I got a real talk for you guys. I went up to my my wife's aunt's farm in Pennsylvania. It was gorgeous.
This is classic boys are back in town content, right?
Okay. So I'm up on the farm.
Yeah. This is
I mean, they got horses, the whole deal, right? And it's gorgeous, and it was a great time. When is the last time any of you guys have been around farm animals? Because I had a weird revelation. But because it has probably been before this trip, the last time I've been in the physical presence of like a farm animal. It's got to be years. Maybe I don't even remember the last time.
Well, we've been around horses. Like wild horses, like when we go to Montana, but not like farm animals.
Yeah. Real quick, around the table, has anyone been around farm animals in the last 3 years?
No.
Nah, bro.
Here's the
I guess there were
revelation.
horses. Yeah, I saw some horses. Well, because I was in Sedona, but they weren't like farm horses.
Yeah,
they were
exactly.
Like, so not really. Yeah, not
Like
really.
wild ponies are one thing, you know.
It's not
like,
a big. Yeah, it's been a while. It's not a regular part of my.
I was around chickens. I was around horses, and all these animals are like probably a good 30 to 40% bigger than you even remember. Like I was next to a horse and it was scary. You're like, dude, I got to be around more horses. We live life is totally detached from nature. Even the chicken, like in my head, I had a chicken about 40% smaller than a real life chicken. Chickens can come up to like your waist. They're big animals. We are totally detached from nature here. And I'm like, I've gotten so detached. Like I haven't been to a zoo in who knows how long. And I think I need to go get reintroduced to wildlife because these animals are massive. Like,
Wait,
in my
chickens,
mind,
chickens go up to your waist? I
There
thought they
are
go up
some-
to your knee.
there were some big chickens. That's what I'm saying, Cameron. You need to get back on a real farm. It was revelatory. Like, man, animals are awesome.
Maybe that wasn't a non-GMO farm you were on, and they were pumping those chickens full of some
Maybe.
biochemicals.
I don't know. I mean, you guys know I'm all for that.
Super chickens.
If I'm an animal and you can say, hey, here's the deal. We can either put you out in like a free range pasture and you're going to have to like hunt down your own food and live a natural wildlife out in the elements. Or we got a nice little setup for you in a safe coop and we'll give you literally all you want all the time. That's not even a hard one, you know?
I realize this whenever I'm driving around, and this does happen when I'm driving around Nashville sometimes, Derek. I don't know if this happens to you driving around your corner of Nashville, but turkeys, roving bands of wild turkeys prowl the streets of East Nashville where I'm at. And they don't move out of the way of cars because they don't have to, because they're big enough. They can just stand there and like stare you down like a showdown, like in those old cop movies. You can, turkeys are, in my mind, turkeys are about the size of like a large, like maybe they're like 2 footballs big. In real life, they can come, like one could easily reach my like lower chest.
Yeah, and they're mean. Wild turkeys are mean.
Yeah, they're super mean.
In Miami, there's chickens everywhere. Like chickens roam Miami, you know. And in Central Florida, we have peacocks. In Orlando, there's peacocks just roaming neighborhoods.
Well, they're huge too.
They're huge, but I don't think they're mean. they'll put their feathers out to like scare you off, you know. But like,
Yeah.
and they hang out in packs though, so they could swarm you.
My side of Nashville, if a turkey is in the middle of the street, he is going to be dinner.
Yeah.
So they don't come on this side of town. Because we don't on Antioch. They don't care about laws or none of that stuff. They don't care about hunting and gaming licenses. None of that. It's just it's a bow.
I don't believe in hunting and gaming license. I've said this before. I think game wardens should be illegal. Like, nature's fair game, guys. This kind of closes the loop on this. Why are police horses a thing? Like, why is it? I'm in a city, right? Like, I live nowhere near a ranch. Yet occasionally at things, I'll see a policeman on a horse. What is the point of the police horse? So, no one has explained that to me. I understand police dogs. Like, they can use their noses and they can, run into buildings and find bad guys or whatever, right? I understand the utility of a dog. What is the point of a horse? Like, they make giant messes. Tax money's going to feed that horse. Yeah. Okay? A horse eats a lot. Why do we have law enforcement on horses? It always just makes me nervous.
That's why, because it looks really, really. But imagine imagine if there's like a shootout and you pull up on a horse, everything stops at that moment, bro. Because if you're crazy enough to pull up on a horse in the middle of a shootout, or imagine somebody is speeding and you catch them in a horse, they're doing 90 and you hawk the mugs down with a horse, bro. Like, it's just amazing. I think
here's
police officers are dope on horses.
Here's why cops on horses get so much attention. Because it's a horse. Anytime a horse is just walking down the middle of Times Square, it's like, what kind of maniac's riding a horse in the middle of New York City? You can't have a horse out here. The police horses make zero sense.
It's how you can tell that the cop departments are run by, like today's podcast is, by boys. Because there was at some point, just somebody said, it'd be awesome if we just rode horses around town, and they just took that was it. That was the beginning and end of the conversation. Why?
They didn't think about anything else.
Well, I don't need it. We can afford it. Do we have that in the budget? We have everything in the budget. Who's going to tell us no?
Yeah, they're like, this is a very urban area with no pastures, nowhere to clean up, and there's literally no reason to have a horse. Like, these are paved roads around, okay? We don't live in the Old West, where in order for me to cross the plain to mosey over on into the next town, I'm going to need some sort of off-road solution, okay? These horses are just walking down the paved street. There's no reason to get them involved. Horses didn't ask to be involved in law enforcement. That's
Jesse,
all I'm saying.
You actually are right, bro. Like, I think of Tennessee, like, that's dope. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of the thing. It's the South. But Times Square doesn't make any sense at all. Like, it literally makes zero sense at all. Like, why in the world you would do that? You actually have a point.
The horse doesn't want it.
And it's a police officer. So if somebody came up and like hit it, that's assaulting an officer.
Yeah, exactly. That horse.
Why would you ever hit a horse though? Like that would horses don't bother anybody.
If you're in the Times Square and you're in a mob of drunken revelry, somebody's going to go over there and punch the horse. They're just going to.
And somebody's going to get their face kicked into the back of their head.
This is saying more about you than it is about the Times Square folks. Absolutely. Money although I do get nervous when I see when you have the cops on horseback out after like a big game or something. Everyone's celebrating the street. Like, there's mobs of people who are drunk. There's fireworks going off, and then there's the horse out there. That feels like a recipe for a real disaster. It makes me a little nervous when I see that. But you never hear any stories about it.
Here's the other thing, and again, this isn't me bagging on cops. This is just making objective observations about how they use their money. And I don't think horses are. I don't know how much a horse is. I haven't priced a horse, but I gotta imagine just like I learned a lot about horses this weekend. There are people who their whole job's a horse dentist, right? They go from farm to farm to work on horse teeth. They're horse dentists, right?
Well, there's people dentists too. Of course, there's horse dentists.
Well, so here's the other thing. So it seems very inefficient, but even more inefficient. You know those Segways now that they have, like the little covering on them?
I knew this was coming.
It's like, dude, if I really wanted to, like, let's just say I'm like a pickpocket, okay? And I'm walking down the street and I grab I'm a purse snatcher and I grab a purse and I'm running and an officer on one of those segways. It's like, oh, I wonder how I'll avert, how I'll escape this. I know, I'll walk up a 6-inch curb and watch as he tries to get the segway up there. They didn't think that one through either.
Bike police officers versus Segway police officers. Which one is the most ridiculous?
Well, hey, a bike. I actually, real talk. Bike cop seems pretty fun. You know what's fun?
No.
You know what's fun? You know what's fun? Riding a bike all day. Okay.
The bike cops are wearing those little shorty shorts like a mailman. That's no good.
I would have. I would do squats like all day and just be riding down the road with my shredded thighs on a mountain bike. Just, yep, watch out, guys, and just like doing wheelies and I just feel like
just
out of
hit the
all
little
of
bell,
them.
ching ching. Hey, is that the horn? Is the bell like it's like ching 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 ching?
Hey, you know what would be great though? You know what would solve all of it? This rollerblade cop, because there's nowhere he can't go or she can't go. You can go inside, outdoor, anywhere a horse or a bike can't. Rollerblade cop. Rollerblade cop is basically just a foot patrol officer that's got wheels on their feet, and that seems the ultimate solution.
We're millennials, so you have to be skateboard cop.
Yeah, I think skate cops.
I mean, rollerboard cop
would
be
coming to
crazy.
FX this summer.
Again,
I want a
rollerboard
skate
cop, Jesse, just like your Segway cop, the way you get away is just run into like gravel or a grassy field and you're free. Because he's got to unstrap and stuff.
Yeah,
he can't
because
come
there
after
is
you.
nothing more, and no one act like they haven't experienced this, okay? Like, there's nothing more humiliating than being on rollerblades and having to try to run through grass or something. You're like high-stepping all awkward, you're clopping around. It's not a good look. It's not a good look to be on rollerblades in the first place, but if you're on gravel kind of doing that weird little dance hop, you're not going to command the respect.
The only person I've ever seen rollerblade, and I thought that makes sense. Like good for him. This is a good mode of transportation. Is that the dog whisperer Cesar Chavez as he's training those big dogs? He takes them for walks, and he's on rollerblades,
Cesar
and he
Millan.
lets those things run. Cesar
They're
Millan.
taking him for a walk.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a bit, yeah.
Why don't we have Stilt Cop? No one's thought of that yet either.
Pogo stick.
He can
Pogo
knock
stick
his
cop.
leg out.
What? No, I'm not going to mess with.
Pogo stick cop just hops up and down across the
Pogo stick.
He'd be the fastest cop. Oh, those bouncy blade runner things that they give like special Olympics.
like Beetlejuice uses at Universal Studios. You know, like he's doing gainers with those blade things. The blade bounce cop is a
Blade
great
bounce
idea.
cop would be the one that nobody could outrun.
Episode 1, season 1 of Skate Cop. You know, the chief, the crusty old chief police calls Skate Cop in, and Skate Cop's, he does a grind in on the little door handle there.
I need somebody to
You're out of line,
Photoshop.
Skate Cop.
Yes. Photoshop
get
a
results.
cop doing a kickflip, shooting a gun while he's doing a kickflip. I need someone to do that from the relevant community. Will you please Photoshop a police officer doing a kickflip and just with an explosion behind them? Like a Michael Bay film. Can someone do that? And if you do that, I will make it my new avatar.
Can his partner be on the bouncy blades? Okay, speaking of this, guys, we're already off the rails. We're in the ditch so deep that I'm not even going to try to get back out. I'm gonna do what they do in traffic jams and just pull out a lawn chair and just like hang out and just make a day out of this, because we're here, we're broke down, traffic ain't moving.
Yeah,
okay,
no, we're
we're
good.
here for the afternoon. Roll down the windows, turn some music up. Let's make this a party. So that's what's happening right now.
Please
the other day,
cut the part where I talked about Skate Cop, because that's going in the pilot script, and I don't want anybody stealing. I don't want to give away the pivotal scene in the first part of my.
This is true too. There's a road near me that connects two parts of town, and on one side of the road is a state park, right, and on the other side is like a military base. So for this like 8-mile stretch, there's nowhere to turn off, right? It's like a road through the woods. It's very popular with like road bike cyclists, like the dudes who like dress up like Lance Armstrong and go for long bike rides, because there's nowhere to go. Like, it connects from one beach to another, and it's a long way through the woods. And so anyway, when you drive it, you see cyclists all the time. This is true. I was driving it the other day, and there's a guy, and he's in the full spandex Lance Armstrong, get up, right? And I swear to you this is true. The dude was riding a unicycle. Okay, like he was straight up like Tour de France in it on a unicycle. Okay, and he's like, have you ever seen, like, riding a unicycle is it's hilarious to watch someone do, but especially watching someone ride a unicycle fast, like they're trying to get speed, because you can't lean down like a bike. You have to be upright. It's really this hip wiggling that he's doing. It was so weird, and I was like, I wanted to
the core exercise, because he's got to stay straight up.
Because on a bike you're hunched over, you're leaning. On the unicycle you're up. It made me want to like follow him. Obviously, follow him very slowly, because even with his technique, he was going very slowly. It made me want to follow him and be like, sir, I don't know your name, I know nothing about you, but I need you in my life.
Why do you find all this stuff, Jesse? Why does all the cool stuff happen to you, bro? I've never seen a person ride a unicycle in my life.
Never.
Dude, and not only that,
Bible college, man, Christian college.
Are you serious?
There was a community. It
That's
wasn't
the
just
thing.
there wasn't the unicycle guy. It was the unicycle group. It was
No way. Like, hold on. Were they cool people, like doing it with a smile?
Did you hear?
Or were they
say unicycle group? They were not cool people.
Okay,
There's no version of this.
Because like
You don't get cooler when you like get good at the unicycle. You're just like, that guy must
if they
ride a
were so
unicycle
cool
a
that
lot.
they were doing it ironically, I'd be like, okay,
I don't think so.
They're funny.
That was
I
not,
like those guys.
I'm not an expert on being cool at Bible college. Who am I
Right.
kidding? Yes, I am. It's the one thing I'm good at. But yeah, this was not. They were not like the. I don't think the girls were like, oh, who's that guy?
because the other thing too, even if you're doing it ironically, like I bet right now, like if right off top of the dome, if I just had a ballpark, and I would say to get a nice unicycle is probably costing you $400.
Oh yeah, it's a bike.
Even if you do it ironically, you're always the person that spent $400 on a unicycle.
$400 for half of a bike, bro. Like, why would I?
There's no coming
You
back
gotta
from
give
that.
me a discount, dog. What
It's
are you
not
doing?
like, hey, look, Frank's here, the funny unicycle guy. What's up, man? He's so self-aware. And people are like, legit though, he paid like $400 for that.
Jesse, I just put unicycle for sale into the internet, $58.99.
No, I would not trust the $60 unicycle.
Walmart, $53.90 with free shipping.
Let's go.
18-inch wheel unicycles.
Okay.
Hey, if I pull up to my next concert in a unicycle, don't judge me.
There's no looking cool on a unicycle.
Imagine me rapping on stage on a unicycle.
I feel like in the early 90s, extreme sports demonstrations to attract the young people, there would be like the rollerblading and the skateboarding. And then like the one guy would come out on a unicycle like, oh, look how... Yeah.
Quick question here. When I Google unicycle, the first article that comes up is best long distance unicycle. What do you guys think long distance means for somebody on a unicycle?
It
like
was
down the block?
I mean, no. This guy was going probably minimum 10 miles here.
Okay, Jesse. If we want to get into the mountain biking unicycle range, we're $400 to $900.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
No, I got an even better one. There's an electric unicycle, 1,000 watt. $1,400.
Okay, what percentage?
Last unicycle you'll ever
Thinking
buy.
about the type of person that dedicates the time and money to getting proficient at a unicycle. Just think about that personality type.
Dedicated.
What percentage
Lonely.
of unicycle owners use a cell phone belt clip? Just in their day-to-day
no
life.
question.
101%.
That Venn diagram is a circle.
Not all cell phone belt clip users have unicycles.
Right.
They might have thought about it, but all unicyclists obviously have cell phone belt clips.
Yeah, it looks like a donut because the unicycle one is inside
exactly.
the other. Okay.
Yeah. And have most of their shirts are meant to be tucked into jeans. Like, I feel like that's another, kind of unicycle.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, I got a question because this is a white people thing.
Wait, unicycles?
No. But I need the white delegation to help me with this. Why buy an electric bike? I thought the point of the bike is to pedal. Like, so explain to me why are we buying? I remember being on tour and all these white guys had electric bikes, and I was confused. So help me with this.
Okay, so
You have one, don't you, Cameron? I already
do
know.
not, but I've seen two examples of people that use them that I thought, okay, that makes sense. One is somebody who uses it. They live in an urban city and they use it to commute to work instead of a car because it's easier to park. They can take it into their office,
to navigate.
whatever,
Okay,
and they don't come in all sweaty and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then this year when we were out in Wyoming, the ranch we were on had a whole bunch of off-road electric bikes, and I didn't know this. They use them for hunting. Because they would like track game up into the ranch lands because it could go places that like ATVs couldn't go and stuff.
With hunting, that seems like cheating.
And so, yeah, but again, you've got all the gear and stuff, so they could have an electric.
That
bicycle.
takes all of the fire out of hunting for me. I'm thinking
these were just rich white people. I mean, you know what I mean? They're not out there. They want the easiest mode of transportation.
Oh, okay. They just want to shoot stuff. So it's like we don't want to do all of the carrying the stuff. There's no like
no, they hire people to carry the stuff.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
They're just
you got a hunting caddy?
It's just like, hey, you guys want to jump on some electric bikes and have guns on your back? Because that sounds pretty cool. Like that's the whole excuse. It's basically when you're like a 12-year-old, you're like, oh yeah, it sounds like the coolest thing ever. You know?
I love it.
But are there any other reasons? Because the other thing is I'm noticing on Instagram, I get this promoted to me a lot is those basically one big tire, one wheel skateboards that are electric.
Yeah.
Apparently that's becoming a thing. And I see guys all over my streets on
I see
those.
them a lot.
You said one wheel skateboard.
It's like it's a fat tire in the middle of the board, and it goes like 30 miles an hour, and you can ride it, like a skateboard, but it's a fat tire. They're
30
everywhere.
miles an hour?
I have looked into them, and I'll say this: very reasonable financing. I'm just saying. I actually one night you're like, yeah, I should totally own that. Like, I would get a lot of use out of that.
I've watched. I've gone to the websites.
Never make a big purchase after 10:30. It's never served me well.
You know what? Almost every one of my pair of Nikes was purchased after 10:30. That's true. You got some wisdom
down,
right there.
Little retail therapy, and it's next thing you know, I got an electric bike with a crossbow, and I'm planning a hunting trip. So
electric unicycle,
bro. These one wheel motorcycle or skateboard things are $1,000.
Yeah, but they'll go.
Derek, they have very reasonable financing. I've looked into it.
Fam, white people, y'all have some of the coolest stuff, dog. Like by the time, like bro, as a black man, I'm like, and the thing is, I'm pretty well off, but I'm like, man, do I really want to spend $1,000 on a one wheel skateboard?
The only reason you could justify it is if it was like again, you live in a city and it's your mode of transportation.
The way to get around town.
Yeah. Like that's it.
Nah. That ain't gonna work, bro. The electric bike, I was with you, but this one wheel skateboard, bro. No, dog. This is useless. This is hoverboards, bro. No one's gonna care.
Every time I've seen one of these on like the main road where I live, like my son and I'll be out at a cafe eating breakfast on a Saturday morning, and one of these guys goes flying by. We all look at him like, what a dork. And he rolls by like everybody's looking at me like how cool I am. There's never been a bigger separation between between perception and reality.
The only thing that I can say, the same cognitive dissonance exists where the person that is using it is like, everyone's looking at how cool I am, and everyone looking is like, why is he doing that? Is a big chain wallet. Like that is the only thing where that same cognitive dissonance.
No, you know what? No. I got another one. This same spot
because the chain wallet guy is like, guys, I'm a chain wallet type of guy. Anyway, so
no, the same spot that we go to every Saturday morning. There's a group of older middle-aged men. I would say between 45 and 60. And they are long distance bikers. They got the Lance Armstrongs, the outfits and stuff. And they have those bike shoes that like snap in. And they're walking up. They walk up to the cafe and they're all in their sweaty gear, their mid-bike ride, whatever they're doing. And they're they just feel like they are the coolest people that's ever walked. And we're all looking at him like, that. You should not be wearing that outfit, old man. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's lumps, there's things. You do not look the way you think you look.
Not a
I love it.
flattering
I love it.
profile.
You look a little
I love
lumpy,
it,
brother.
man. I love
Yeah,
the confidence it takes.
That's
Hey,
what I'm saying. Like, they are walking in like, look at us. And we're all like, please cover yourself because
did you guys ever rock chain wallets back in the day? Like, Tyler,
never.
I feel like you probably owned one.
Never
at some
owned.
point.
Never owned one.
Never.
I had one in 6th grade, and I thought it was so cool until the school I went to made us stop using them because we got in chain wallet fights for the fun of it, where it just you swing it around and it's just like, you know,
like
I can
snapping
understand.
towels, but you were doing it with actual metal chains.
With a wallet on the end, with a leather wallet on the end.
I mean, it's like the school was being really unreasonable when you were whipping each other with chains. I would probably
I wasn't
take
whipping
action.
innocent people. We were challenging each other in chain wallet fights, Tyler. Okay? It wasn't like we were just
Dude, that's like
victimizing.
literally nunchuck fights, like at
Yeah,
a
I know.
school.
It
Like
was
you
really
can't
fun.
Goes
It
to the
was really
principal's
cool.
like, the guys are whipping each other with chains out there. Do you think we should do something?
And money's flying everywhere. I don't know. Can I take it? Can I get it or whatever? Like, I'm just sitting there just scooping up all the ones that are falling out of y'all's wallet. I'm like, hey, man.
little Derek's just on his hands and knees, just staying out of
Hey,
it.
look,
just grabbing
I'm
his-
up here counting like $50 out in ones. I'm like, man, these white people crazy, but I'm rich, boy.
It's the most
This
lucrative rest
conversation-
gig you're ever gonna get. Just like, yeah, I'll just keep an eye, make sure nobody gets hurt, and
I
clean
got
up in
y'all,
between
man.
the fights.
Y'all get in your nunchuck fight.
Hey, all right, I just thought of something. Why isn't anyone so stupid? Why hasn't anyone invented land skis? Like skis that are really long with just wheels on the bottom, and you use poles, and you're just poling around the neighborhood.
So you're talking like
Land
skateboard meets rollerblade in a ski form,
Yep.
and you've got the poles. You're
And you
doing the
got
pole
poles.
thing.
So your feet are just stationary. It's not like blades where, roller blades where you're just, kicking around.
Where
You're
is
using
Jamie
them
Like
at?
poles.
oil or something. couldn't you?
Jamie!
You wouldn't even need wheel. Just get some olive oil on the
Jamie,
bottom.
I'm scared.
Derek,
we need some help.
is land skiing the whitest thing you've ever heard? Is that the whitest idea you've ever
I mean,
heard?
it's on par with a unicycle, bro. I'm not gonna even lie.
Landscape.
Think about this. In the past 15 minutes, we've talked about unicycles. We've talked about rollerblade cop. We've talked about a
Chain wallet fights.
nunchuck game wallet fight. Yeah, this is interesting. And now we're on land skis. I'm like,
All right, well, moving the show along, we have a great rest
fun,
of the
Clark.
show. We have a great rest of the show for you. Coming up later, Natalie Manuel Lee joins us. She's a host of Now with Natalie on the Hillsong Channel. She talks to us about knowing how to bridge the gap between your gifts and your purpose, and keeping your head on straight when it feels like things are falling apart. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned for that. All right, up next, it's Relevant News.
Let's hear for the boy. Let's give a boy a hand. Yeah. Let's hear for my baby. You know you gotta understand. Yeah. Oh, maybe he's no Romeo, but he's my loving one-man show. Oh, 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 oh. Let's hear it for the boy.
You're listening to Denise Williams. It's Let's Hear It for the Boy. You might notice that all of the song breaks today are themed around boys. So, just FYI. All right, men. All right. Well, I think.
boys to men.
Yeah, I think that's
exactly.
debatable.
Yeah.
Well, today's show is brought to you by Convoy of Hope. Life has changed this year. Businesses have shut their doors, millions of people have lost their jobs, and no one really knows when life will fully return back to normal. But often in the midst of despair, hope flourishes. And while the situation may look bleak for many, hope is being delivered across the nation. Convoy of Hope is doing everything it can to help people during this crisis. Their team embarked on a mission to provide 10 million meals to people in desperate need. But to date, they've delivered more than 100 million meals to those hit hardest by the pandemic. If you'd like to support their ongoing mission to deliver help to those who need it most, visit convoyofhope.org/relevant. Whether it's a share on social media, a prayer, or a financial gift, Convoy is grateful for any help that we can send their way. That's convoyofhope.org/relevant. All right, it's time for, this is a new intro, new segment. Tyler's back. It's the new era. It's time for Relevant News. Telling us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture, all the stuff we're covering over at Relevant. Tyler, what you got?
That was a good. If you thought the show was white already, Derek, we haven't even started because the first.
Oh yes,
because the first piece of news we're gonna be talking about today is a guy named Chris Pratt. I don't know,
man. I heard about my guy Pratt, man.
Yeah, things got so. This was kind of a weird social media dogpile that has actually fallen onto our lane before. So I wanted to pull it apart a little bit here. So if you were online on Tuesday, you may have seen Chris Pratt's name trending. This started innocently. There was another one of those debates that comes up every couple of months about who's the best Chris. You guys know what I'm talking about there, of the Hollywood Avengers white Chris's, and Pratt was pretty definitively in last place, which is there. Plenty of possible valid reasons for that. But part of what happened was a few people on Twitter and on Instagram were dragging Pratt for what they perceived to be his religious views and his politics. So he started trending over that. This led to a bunch of his celeb pals like Mark Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr., Zoe Saldana, Josh Gad, and James Gunn assembling to stand up for Pratt. Or for example, Ruffalo tweeted, "You all, Chris Pratt is as solid a man as there is. I know him personally, and instead of casting aspersions, look at how he lives his life. He is just not overtly political as a rule." So I'll get into a little more what that means in a second. But Robert Downey tweeted, quote, "The sinless are casting stones at my brother Chris Pratt, a real Christian who lives by principle and has never demonstrated anything but positivity and gratitude." James Gunn, director of Guardians of the Galaxy movies, tweeted, quote, "I've spent hours and hours sharing my deepest truths with this man as he has with me. Please stop assuming what he believes politically or in any other way just because he's a Christian." Zoe Saldana said, "Your friends, family, colleagues, and everyone else who's ever crossed paths with you knows your heart and your worth." So Chris Pratt doesn't actually talk about his politics very much. So most of what people are talking about is mostly like inference and kind of amateur sleuthing. He recently married into the Schwarzenegger family. So his father-in-law is actually Arnold, who of course is a Republican and was governor. Although it's worth noting that Arnold is very much not a fan of the current administration, as he's talked about many times. Now, Pratt does follow a lot of conservative type folks on social media like Ben Shapiro and PragerU, the right-wing organization. He also didn't attend this big Avengers Zoom rally for Biden and Harris, but that a lot of his other MCU co-stars did. So people kind of took all of that and put it together and created this idea of Chris Pratt must be a big-time Trump supporter because of these things. But obviously, he hasn't said anything to that effect, hasn't been photographed in public wearing a MAGA hat or anything like that. The only thing he's really said that I could find when I was digging through this is he told Men's Fitness in 2017 that, quote, "I don't feel represented by either side of the political divide." Although he did donate some money to Obama's campaign in 2012. And his wife said that she would be supporting Biden in the upcoming election here. So that kind of throws a lot of cold water on the fire that the social media crowd was trying to start here. And then he's also, and this was kind of tied in with this, he took a lot of heat for his association with what people called an anti-LGBT church. Now, as far as I can tell, that's because a lot of people are assuming that he goes to Hillsong Church. He actually does not. He attends Zoe Church in LA. Zoe Church doesn't really have a lot of policies. They haven't said a lot about the whole LGBT issue. Pratt himself says, quote, "Nothing could be further from the truth. I go to a church that opens their doors to absolutely everyone." So that's sort of the whole bird's eye view situation of what took place on Twitter and why you might have seen Pratt's name trending yesterday. It is an interesting...
Twitter was bored. They were bored. That's
I love how the online mob completely defines somebody based on, very far-reaching anecdotal evidence or just something somebody said on Twitter, and so therefore it's fact.
Well,
I mean, it's
and I think the most kind of concerning thing, in my opinion, about all, look, Chris Pratt will be just fine. You know what I mean? I don't think his career or personal life is in any kind of jeopardy because of this. But the thing that I think is concerning is judging someone by who they follow on social media. And I'm kind of the opinion that people, and not just celebrity, I think everyone should actively follow people. And even if they don't necessarily support or engage directly with them, I think it would do a lot of good for people to follow people and see what other people think that don't share their same opinions, even if they vehemently disagree, and not necessarily for the sake of, oh, I want this person to change my mind about an issue. But I think there's real value in understanding where people who think differently, how they think and why they think what they think. And so like, because if someone were to look through who I've followed on social media or things that I've, regularly read, I seek out, I want to know how other people think, and not as an indictment, just because sometimes I'm genuinely curious,
Right. We should be receiving information from people outside of our bubble. We should be learning, or to have empathy and understanding for people who are different than us. We should not block out their messages. We should listen to them and understand where they're coming from, and then that's it. It doesn't sway us.
Being informed,
right?
It's part of knowing what you're talking about.
Yeah, there'll be days where like I will, I'll maybe listen to like a Pod Save America, and then I'll listen to like a Ben Shapiro, not because I necessarily am in a line, but sometimes I'm just curious. Is like, how does that person arrive at that opinion? You know what I mean? Like, because I don't think there's value. Like I said, there's just kind of reading something or listening to something, I don't think makes you a supporter of that thing. I think unfortunately, I feel like we culturally have started, creating these terms where we encourage echo chambers, and right. Echo chambers, they just don't end up working. It's just people either doing one of two things, just confirming what their followers want them to say, or they make the same point over and over, but they make that point louder. And it's like neither of those end up being effective long term.
And that's the reason why we can't have civil discussion, because you don't even know what the other person is saying. Like, that's the big issue here. That's why people are really, really unequipped to be able. Is I have to cancel you because I believe what you're saying is wrong, because I don't even know what you're actually saying. Like with Pratt, I'm like, y'all are just bored. Like I looked for about 10 minutes trying to figure out, why are y'all canceling this dude? And I literally have no reason. I don't see why. Like, even if he's a Trump supporter, someone that supports Trump doesn't necessarily mean you should cancel them. Like, I can't believe we've gotten so far that it's like, and this is coming from a dude that, I mean, everyone knows my stance is on, I'm very vocal about everything, but I don't cancel people for being Trump supporters, but I will challenge you. And like, I don't enjoy the idea of I'm either 100% a Joe Biden supporter or 100% a Trump supporter. I can say, hey, I like a little bit about this guy, a little bit about that guy, but I think I'm leaning to this guy. And we just don't live in that kind of world. We always want to just make everything black and white, which is ironic because the same people that would criticize Chris Pratt, if that same type of energy was put back on them, they would say, dang, why would you just want to lump me all in a big group and say that I act this way or that way. And I just don't think, I think that's just stupid. Twitter was bored yesterday. That's all it was. Twitter was just bored that day.
We need to go outside.
They need to go play.
Yeah, do a couple laps on some land skis and clear the head, clear the old noodle, get out of the land skis, quick up and back around the block. Get a couple stairs, clear your head, move on with your day.
Couple stairs? How can you do stairs on land skis?
No, I'm talking about people staring at you.
Oh,
stairs. Don't go anywhere near stairs on land skis. Are you insane? Have you lost your mind?
I guess you can go down them.
We're talking land skis here.
I'll green light that one on Shark Tank. Jesse,
Lansky.
I'll green light that one. I'm in.
All right. You've just bought yourself 20% of my company. I will only need about $1.5 million to get this bad boy off the ground, because
checks in the mail.
Somehow I'm already being sued by people who are injured on my prototype land skis. And as soon as we get ourselves out of this little hole,
air quotes.
As soon as we dig ourselves out of this little hole, we'll figure out how to get them into production. But right now, I got a pretty serious lawsuit that I'm staring down. So,
all right,
thank you.
What else do you have, Tyler?
So this was an interesting study that came out about what different religious groups are concerned about with the upcoming elections. We're getting pretty close here, down to the wire on election season. And PRRI did a really interesting study about what is motivating different groups of religious people to go to the polls this year, what issues are top of mind. What was especially interesting about this, and which may not be super surprising, if you've been listening to some of the relevant news and stuff we've been talking about on this podcast, white evangelicals are outliers, singularly outliers in every single issue that they are concerned about going into this election. So here's what that means. Basically, for the top 3 critical issues by religious affiliation that's motivating you to the polls, most religious groups, kind of the same mix of big issues, things that probably won't be super surprising. The pandemic, fairness in presidential elections, things like healthcare, tax policy, climate change. These are what would unite most religious groups and honestly most Americans who are going to vote this year. But white evangelicals, top 3 issues according to them: abortion, terrorism, and voter fraud. And there's no other religious group right now that listed any of those among their the top 3 issues that they're most interested
terrorism?
in. Yeah, terrorism
Did you say terrorism?
feels very outdated right now, doesn't it? Like, we haven't had a terrorist attack since I was 15 years old.
I'm surprised that abortion didn't show up in other religious groups, though. You know what I mean? Like, there's still like Catholics and whatever are still very conservative in that area.
Interesting. It is interesting because obviously white evangelicals are not the only group that consider abortion to be an issue for them.
I would say Catholics are some of the most pro-life, groups, voting groups. Yeah.
The and I don't really know why that is. They just didn't get into why that might be, but like white mainline Protestants, for example, coronavirus pandemic, fairness in presidential elections, and crime, top 3 issues.
That's Protestants. That's mainline, like. So mainline are liturgical. So like Lutheran, Presbyterian,
Southern Baptist, not basically for the purposes of this, pretty much. Black Protestant, the pandemic, racial inequality, and fairness in the presidential elections as well. Hispanic Protestants, crime, healthcare, the pandemic. White Catholics, healthcare, the pandemic, fairness in presidential elections. So a lot of unity on the rest of these issues, kind of the same mix of issues, and that just isn't the case for white Protestants. And they're outliers. This is usually the case, actually. They're outliers in a lot of issues going into here. Only about 35% of Americans at large approve of how President Trump has handled the pandemic. Among white evangelicals, that jumps up to 76% of approval rating. And you see that kind of across the board in these types of questions. America at large feels one way. White evangelicals are flipped. Wow. And Derek's giving me the look that says I could have told you all of this.
Water is wet. In today's segment, water is wet.
That's crazy.
Your boy said terrorism. That's crazy. Are they talking about like the white supremacist terrorist? Are surely they're talking
I think
about?
We know the answer to that.
I think we're living in 2001 still.
The radicals.
You know how like somebody who has like a mullet, you're like, man, 1987 was good to him. He loved that year and he just locked it in for the rest of his life. You know what I'm saying? I feel like white evangelicals love 2002 and just they're riding it out. They're just staying in that lane. That was their heyday. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I wish it was just like one weird denomination that was like, let's see, Space Force right up top of the list. Those paper straws that are good for the environment, but get kind of soggy about halfway through the drink. Like to see the government do something about that. And, I don't know. It's kind of fair game after that, but it's got those 2 issues covered. Like, I just wish there was one out there denomination that we could all just kind of collectively laugh at and not.
We got to get cops more ways to get around town. It's going to be my platform. So I'm going the paper soggy straw, Space Force, and we don't need horse cops anymore. That's where do you stand, sir? Where
I would love one of the town hall people to stand up to one of the presidents and ask a question.
I want you to drink this Starbucks out of that paper straw, and you tell me, Venti, if it's not soggy by the end. That's all I have to say about this issue.
To Starbucks' credit, they figured out a solution
the lid.
To the
sip lid.
They have a straw lid thing, a sip lid. Yeah,
what? I've never seen it.
It's a sippy.
Yeah,
lid.
it's like a sippy cup for a toddler. On all the Starbucks now, they're doing no straws anymore.
Yeah,
maybe I could do it. They're going to be here in Nashville. Trump and Biden are doing the final debate here tomorrow. Maybe I'll just go. Gentlemen, Tyler Huckabee, relevant news. Just one question for you guys. Horses with police officers on top of, I don't understand it. Whoever can figure out the solution here gets my vote.
Mr.
I'm just letting y'all know I'm staying in my house. I will not be anywhere. I will not be anywhere near that poopy show.
That's all right. That's all right. That's why you're sending down the Tyler Huckabee delegation. It's my beat.
That's it.
All right. What else do you have, Tyler?
Final thing today. This was kind of, I don't know if you guys are still checking out SNL, but last week we had Issa Rae hosted SNL with musical guest Justin Bieber, who's kind of gearing up for his new era in the Bieber in the Bieber-sance that we're looking at here. And he not only did he do his new song Holy with Chance the Rapper, that's how he opened it, but then he also dropped a
awesome.
which was great. Which was
SNL.
great. Really good. And Chance did a good job. He showed up there. It was good. Always good. He seems to really enjoy being on SNL, so it was good to see him there. He also dropped a new single called Lonely, which he performed with Benny Blanco, who produced it. And that makes actually a pretty compelling case that being a celeb is no picnic. And I think songs about the trials of fame can be a little bit self-indulgent sometimes. But this one honestly came from a really raw and real place about some of the stuff that Justin's been through over the last few years that he's been very transparent about and honest about, and that we've talked about many times here on Relevant. Just last month on Instagram, he got really open about some of his new kind of pivot and reprioritization of his faith. He said, "I want to walk to God and the plans God has for me and not try to do it on my own. I'm grateful I can walk with Jesus as he leads the way." Here's a clip of that song.
Everybody knows my past now, like my house was always made of glass. And maybe that's the price you pay for the money and fame at an early age. And everybody saw me sick, and it felt like no one gave a. They criticized the things I did as an idiot kid. Oh.
The thing that struck me about this song was like you said, sometimes like, oh, woe is me, I'm so rich and popular, is self-indulgent. But he's been so open about his mental health and struggles with depression and other things that when he sings a song like this, the authenticity comes through. Like it's a vulnerability and transparency, and it's not like a woe is me put on thing. It really gives you empathy for somebody who lives a life that none of us can identify with. You know what I mean? And so it's like to hear him open up like that, it's like, and he was tweeting this week as well to fans who gather in front of his home, and they're trying to snap pictures of him as he's just walking in and out of his house. He's just like, this isn't a hotel, people. I mean, like, can I just live a life? It's just like, you just don't think.
Jealous.
Yeah, you just don't think about that. And like he said, when he was a kid going through this, like he's never had a normalcy. Yeah, and he's just living all publicly. It just really it broke my heart for him.
A lot of artists are trapped, and they're trapped in and I can say this even for myself. Like when I first started doing music, I just wanted to rap about where I'm from and rap about God, and then I got whisked into a set of rules that I didn't want to live by. And now I'm 10 years later, and for some reason, people don't like artists to grow. So they don't so you look at Biebs, and Biebs, when he first came in, it was lovey-dovey songs. And then he went into bad boy Biebs phase. And then now it's like, do we expect this person to be that for his whole life? And then I think we expect too much out of art. I think we expect too much out of people. I was talking to a friend about this before. Like, social media has created this really weird perspective of how we engage relationships, because we can have access to people at all times. And I think it's unfair for how artists of that level and that stature, that people, and the same thing was with Michael Jackson. Everybody thought Michael Jackson was a weirdo, but I mean, you'd be weird if you were uber famous from 12 years old. You never really had a childhood, and then you're just kind of trapped on this island by yourself. Now, take all of the indiscretions and stuff away, but he's not the only person. Like, a lot of these child stars, they implode because they never get to literally live a life where they can just go into Whole Foods, pick up some almond milk, and go home and not be recognized. I think it's the fame thing is man, you better know what you're getting into before you get into it.
Makes it kind of amazing that anybody gets through it. When you see somebody who's gone through all that and appears to be doing okay, that's the rare thing. That's the rarity. Somebody who has a tough time with it, shouldn't be surprising. Because
our culture too wants to build you up, and then once you're at the top, tear you down. You know, they love to see the heroes fall. And so it's like everybody's rooting for these guys to implode, you know, and it's sick. It's sick. And like, I can't imagine having the pressure. Anyway, so for him to handle it publicly like that with a song like this with Benny Blanco, it stood out to me, you know, like good for him.
Yeah. I love it when stars, actors, musicians say, I've had enough, and they just go into just normalcy. They're like, you know what? I'm going to be a mom. I'm going to be a dad. I'm going to go sell real estate or whatever. I love when they take their life back and say, this doesn't define me, because you can really get wrapped up in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That'll do it for
Relevant News.
That's kind of sexy, bro. I'm going to keep it real. It's like a modern, sexy, hot list thing.
Yeah, it's not sizzling. It's like,
the 2020.
I mean, if it came on in the club, I'd be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
It sounds like something that could potentially be played like in the dressing room waiting area at like Forever 21. Like, do you want this? You see those in a 33 as well as 34? We'll just toss them over the door for you.
Okay.
all right. Well, for more content like that, check out what we're publishing every day over at relevantmagazine.com and check out the latest episodes of Relevant News. Stay tuned. Up next, Natalie Manuel Lee joins us.
About boys. I was busy dreaming about boys. Head is spinning, thinking about boys. In every city I go, I'm with different ringtones. Flying from LA all the way to Puerto Rico. My girls are calling me, asking me where I'm at. Didn't hit him back.
You're listening to Charlie XCX. The song is Boys, keeping with the theme. Well, Natalie Manuel Lee is a journalist and producer and host of a Hillsong Channel series, Now with Natalie. On the show, she has authentic conversations about identity and purpose with people like Hailey Bieber, Kelly Rowland, and many more A-list celebrities. Natalie sat down with our very own Tyler Huckabee recently to talk about calling, knowing how to bridge the gap between your gifts and your purpose, and keeping your head on straight when it feels like the world is falling apart. Here's our conversation with Natalie Manuel Lee.
Listening to you on Now with Natalie, and I love interviewing other interviewers because it gets me a chance to talk shop a little bit. But did you feel like you had a knack for really good, honest conversation even before the show started?
Yes, I think that's where I found it's so funny because I didn't really know that I had a gift for doing this until I actually started doing it. So, you know, a lot of times I feel like God just kind of called me to it and I jumped in the water and I realized, oh my God, this is literally something this is what I do, is having those honest conversations with my friends and family, and more so just getting down to the deep rooted stuff and being honest with ourselves. It definitely invigorates me. It makes me feel excited to actually get to the depths and the roots of what we need to truly confront. And like I said, I didn't even know that I had a gift until I was filming season 1. I believe I was like on my 5th interview and I left away and I was like, oh my God, this is a part of my purpose. This is a part of my gift. But a lot of times, just to encourage people that sometimes we don't realize that our purpose and our gift is wrapped up in obedience, is an act of obedience. So for me, it was like a season of being obedient. Let me go and do what God's called me to do. And then realize, wait a minute, I've been doing this all along, but now he's putting it into this formula that has become my work, that has become my job, and that has become a part of my purpose.
Why do you think we tend to be bad at real conversation? What's the holdup there?
Shame robs us. Shame is, and that's what season 2 is about, is shame. And a lot of it is we don't have the strength to be vulnerable. We think that vulnerability equates to weakness. In all reality, vulnerability equates to strength. And so I think a lot of it is shame. A lot of it is lack of vulnerability. And a lot of it is caring what other people think. And, you know, shame lies to us. Shame is built in secrecy. Shame will tell you that you can't say anything because people will throw stones at you or make you feel some type of way. But shame robs us from confronting those things. And in order for us to have these authentic conversations, we have to be in a position to be able to confront. We can't heal if we don't confront. We can't enter into freedom if we don't confront. And in order for us to confront, we have to be honest and vulnerable with ourselves. That is why the topic for season 2 is shame, is because we have this proclivity as a generation to pick up all of these wrong labels to really define who we are.
It's so cool that you've been able to find something that you're really good at and that you feel like is your calling. What would you say to people who haven't gotten there yet, who are just having a lot of struggles and knowing what their gifts are and what their calling is?
Yeah, I think it starts with seeing what you're passionate about, seeing what you're compassionate about, and really the desires of your heart. Scripture says your gifts and talents will make room for you. Hone in on what you believe your actual gifts and talents are, and they will make room for you, but also accept those gifts and talents. I think for me, for so long, I didn't accept it because I felt like, how can this actually turn into a career of me just being able to talk to my friends and having these honest, authentic conversations? But I knew the desires of my heart is like, this is what I love to do day in and day out. I knew that it was a part of my gift. I knew that I was compassionate about it. I knew that I had a thrill about it. So I think that if we really hone in on those things that kind of make us spark, that is a part of unequivocally so, that is a part of our purpose. That is a part of who we are. There's a reason why God has put these interests in you. You know what I mean? If there's no interest in life, if we don't have any hobbies, then okay, but there's a reason why we love these certain things. And like I said earlier, if we don't know who we are and we don't know where we're from, we'll never know why we're here. So hone in on your identity, hone in on knowing who you truly are.
So this year has put our mental health to the test in a lot of ways, and I think that's probably something that's very relatable. How's it been for you?
For me, it's just making sure that we're staying connected to the source. At the end of the day, we have to make sure that we're connecting back to who created us. I think there's definitely moments where some days are harder than others. And I think when I realize that I feel empty or whenever I feel depleted, I know that I'm not filling my spiritual cup. I'm realizing that, I haven't worshiped, maybe in a day or two, or, I haven't actually spent any undivided attention with God and just really honing in. And what I do is when I do feel like I'm low and I'm just heavy and I'm just maybe potentially going into a bout of feeling low or blah, as I go in my closet and everything is dark and I turn on worship music and I just sit there and I just wait. And I just wait to hear anything, but more importantly, almost starting to just release certain things off of me. So it's definitely been an up and down 6 months. But I know that your mental and your spiritual are most imperative in our life. And so for me, I am aware of, I need to make sure that I'm doing the certain things that I need to do to actually make me stay into a healthy place. And that's going in my closet, having that prayer time, releasing those certain things, filling my cup up spiritually.
You mentioned red flags when you know that you need to be spiritually filled. What are some of those red flags for you?
Great question. When I start comparing myself, to other people, when I start feeling like, this person's maybe doing that, and that's not even how I'm wired. That was the whole point of season 1. It's like, I've walked this season out, but it's still, when I start feeling like, wait a minute, I need to be doing more, and sometimes we do need to be doing more, but it doesn't mean that it needs to weigh you down of making you feel like you need to be doing more. My patience level is very thin. So when I'm running out of patience and when I'm just feeling there's no excitement, I don't feel purpose that day, that's when I really know. So when I feel like I'm questioning everything that I've done, and if this even makes any sense, when I'm starting to compare myself to others, feeling like I need to do more, looking at my fruit and my characteristics of my personality that day, which is potentially not having a lot of patience and not being able to extend grace and not feeling motivated. All of those things for me are huge red flags. And some days I sit in it, but we have to feel our feels, right? So we could sit in it, but we can't stay there. We can't afford to stay there, but we have the tools that we need to get out of those seasons. And so for me, if it's maybe a day or if it's a couple hours, I know that next day I'm going to have to go fill my spirit up, get in the closet, get in worship, just pray, casting all of those cares onto God. That's a real thing. It's like we can't carry and walk around with these heavy burdens on our shoulders thinking that we can deal with it. That's God weight. That's not human weight. It's God weight. And when I start carrying God weight, that's when I know I am not in my right mental and spiritual and emotional state, because I'm trying to now control the things that he should have been controlling all along. So those are some of the flags.
Last question. What does church look like for you these days?
Wow, great question. We do online church, but now because it's so unconventional. I mean, we did online church even prior to the pandemic, but I think the beauty of what's happening right now is the church is restructuring itself to understand that we don't have to worship in those four walls. The church starts within. The church starts with us. We are the hands and feet of Jesus. Yes, it's good to commune and have that community and have that fellowship. That is one thing that I do miss, is like fellowshipping with others. But in our reality, we are the church. The building is not the church. We are the church. And if we keep that perspective, I believe that we will save more souls outside of the four walls than we are in the four walls.
That was Natalie Manuel Lee. Check out Now with Natalie on the Hillsong Channel.
I got gas in the tank. I got money in the bank. I got news for you, baby. You're looking at the man. I got skin in the game. I got a household name. I got news for you, baby. You're looking at the man. When it comes to Friday, I always earn.
You're listening to The Killers. The song is The Man, of course. Well, many thanks to Natalie Manuel Lee for joining us. You can follow her on all social at Natalie Manuel Lee. Hey, go check out relevantmagazine.com. Now, a couple weeks ago, I mentioned our new newsletters we were launching. I kind of jumped the gun on those, and they did not launch for this show that I promoted them. But guess what? They're live now. We are debuting a new newsletter every weekday morning. It's our top 5, quick look at our top 5 articles, keeping in the loop of what's happening at Relevant. It's a quick glance first thing in the morning. Check it out. You can sign up on the Relevant Magazine homepage. Also, we're launching a new daily devotional called Deeper Walk. You can sign up for that there as well. We'll post them on the site as well, but why not get them sent to your inbox and start your day with a nice 5-minute devotional. All right, on that note, we'll wrap things up for this Boys Are Back in Town edition of the Relevant Podcast. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Tyler Huckabee.
I'm Derek Miner.
And hopefully next time, Jamie will be back. No, not that you did it back. You did great, Tyler. You did great. I'm just saying, the first 30 minutes of the show, Jesse doesn't know boundaries if Jamie's not on the show, is
I
all
am
we're
as
saying.
boundary-free as a long-distance unicyclist. Just riding all over the road, just wind in my hair, sun in my eyes, wind on my back.
We'll see you on Tuesday. Have a good weekend, everyone.
For listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine, A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
Don't go anywhere near stairs on land skis. Are you insane? Have you lost your mind?
Relevant Podcast Network.